Hello there. In this video we finally get around to doing a minor rust repair on my 2005 Nissan Primera P12, which has been my daily driver since the dawn of time. Now for this job we'll need quite a wide range of resources, including this cordless drill, which has an abrasive brush on the end there. That's for removing the bulk of the rust. And interestingly, rather than go for a traditional metal brush, as I have done in the past, I'm trying for the first time this nylon brush, which I think will be slightly less fierce. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. I'll then cover the whole area with this Hammerite, which is going to kill any remaining rust and undercoat. I also have here, this is paint that matches the car, specifically it's techno grey metallic. And then rather than clean a single brush between coats, I've bought 5 cheap disposable brushes because trying to clean Hammerite out of a single brush isn't my favourite pastime. We'll also need some basic tools such as this screwdriver to open and stir the paint, a ratchet with a 10mm socket, various rags for keeping things clean, this, what's it called? Masking tape, that's it, and curiously, this empty tin of mackerel fillets in tomato sauce. Don't worry, all will become clear. Now the rust repair I want to do today is predominantly behind this rear right light. So of course this has to be removed. But before I do that, I'm tempted to just mark its outline in places at least with some masking tape, maybe up here, over the top there, and perhaps down here as well. And that way, when the light's been removed, I know that any work I do within the line of the masking tape will be invisible when the car is back together. And any repair I do beyond the masking tape will be visible when the light's back on, and that's worth bearing in mind because clearly anything visible needs to be as neat and tidy as possible. So there we go, all masked up. So we can see here, for example, that any repair I do, that side of the masking tape will be invisible when the light is in situ. But I can't bring this masking tape all the way up there because there's a little area there that looks like it may need a bit of treatment. So anyway, the next thing to do is to remove the light, and that means taking off this piece of plastic trim, which is a little looser than it used to be when the car was new because one of the plastic clips is broken. All right, there we go. So this is the main area of concern. It's this piece here, and that does look about the same as last time I saw it. It's certainly not significantly worse. It's a little bit there as well, and if we come back, we've got some going down here. That I think is predominantly dirt, but I will double check. But overall, the rest of it looks absolutely fine. So we haven't got a serious issue here, but I nonetheless want to deal with that before it becomes serious. Look, the camera is having trouble seeing that rust. I've had to attach my torch here with masking tape. Lucky I bought a new roll. Right, well the next stage is to remove the corrosion with the drill and this abrasive brush on the end. I hate the thought of putting this abrasive brush on that Nissan Primera, but the bottom line is it's the lesser of two evils. I know this repair isn't going to look as good as when the car was new, but if I don't do something about it now, I'm going to have a significantly worse problem in the near future, and then I will regret it. So let's check that's tight. And what mode is the drill on? Oh, that's no use. That'll do. You ready? Oh, well, here we go. So this is what we're left with. The nylon brush has successfully removed all the loose flaky rust, so it's done well, and we can move on to the next stage. So the next thing we're going to do is cover the area with this Hammerite #1 rust beater in grey, because that's the nearest colour to the car. And it says down there, you may be able to see, that it kills rust, primes and undercoats in one, which sounds good to me. And also it's for interior and exterior use. So let's just summarise the instructions on the tin. Now, either my eyesight isn't what it was, or the writing on these tins gets smaller every year. Anyway, in summary, it says remove all the loose rust and stuff. We've done that. Then it says remove grease with Hammerite brush cleaner. Haven't got any of that. However, I have used this stuff before and skipped that step, and it's been fine, so we'll move on. It also says remove dirt and salt deposits with dilute detergent, rinse with clean water and allow to dry. And that stage we will do. Right, what's next? It says abrade clean steel with abrasive paper to provide a key. But hang on, we've already been over the whole area with this abrasive spinny drill thing. So if that hasn't provided enough of a key, I don't know what will. Then what? Stir the Hammerite thoroughly. I can do that. And paint it on. Right, somewhere around here I have a special screwdriver for stirring Hammerite. Now, where's that gone? Now, every time I get anywhere near this sort of stuff, I always end up covered in it. So I've got some gloves on today because this isn't easy to get off your skin. All right, let's have a look. There it is, most of a tin left. I did use this for something else a little while ago. Nothing to do with cars though. All right, let's give that a good old stir. Right, so I have a 1/2 inch brush here, and I'm just going to put on a relatively thin coat to start with. It will need a second coat. Come down there like that. And what I will also do is just come across this seam here very slightly, a bit more paint, hang on. I don't want to overload the brush because then it gets messy. So just a little bit over here. Okay, that's all we can do for now. The Hammerite now needs about 6 hours to dry before I can do a second coat, so I'll just pop the car in the garage here because it's definitely about to rain. Right, it's now 10 o'clock at night, which means this first coat of Hammerite has had about 7 hours to dry, and that means, according to the instructions, we're now in the window when we can add a second coat, and I'm going to do that now before bed. And what I'll do is start a new paintbrush because the other one has gone rock hard. So I'll get on with that, and I'll see you in the morning. Well, it's now the next day, and I promised yesterday to explain to you why I'm using an empty mackerel tin to fix the rust on my Nissan Primera P12. Well, as I showed you before, this is the grey metallic paint for the car, and obviously I want to know that it sticks properly and covers Hammerite. So before I even touched the car a few days ago, I did a little experiment. So I scuffed up the bottom of this tin with sandpaper just to give it a key. Then I painted the base with the Hammerite. That's the lighter grey stuff there and there. And then I put some of the car's grey paint over the Hammerite. And yeah, that sticks just fine. So now I can paint the car with increased confidence. Oh dear. things have been going wrong here. So despite confirming that this paint can cover the Hammerite by doing a little sample on this metal fish tin, which worked, it covered it just fine, it's not covering it properly on the car itself, which is irritating. Bottom line is, I think this stuff is just far too thin, and to get any kind of decent finish is going to take far too many coats. So I've had to think of another solution. So I've had to resort to this tiny little pot of Nissan paint, which is more the sort of thing you typically use to repair a small stone chip, but crucially it is significantly thicker than of that stuff, and indeed it is covering a lot better too. So I've already got one coat of this on the car. I'll do a second in due course and then show you the finished results. It's now a few hours later and we're getting somewhere. So here's a quick reminder of what the rust looked like before we started the repair. Not particularly attractive, and here it is looking substantially better. So the rust is gone. We've got 2 coats of Hammerite, 2 coats of this Tecna Nissan grey metallic or whatever it's called, and all is well. So we'll call that good. So that means we don't need this masking tape anymore. We can get rid of that. There we are, that piece down there as well. And then all we need to do is reinstall the light. So there we go, the light is back in place, as is this plastic trim down the side, and that covers up pretty much all of the repair. All we can see is a little bit of new paint there and a little bit there, which is nothing much, and far preferable to letting the rust even spread up here and make things worse. And even those little bits of new paint will be invisible once the tailgate is shut. So there we go. Don't forget to subscribe to CarSpyTV for more content. Do me a favour and click like on this video, and I'll see you next time, hopefully with a lot less rust.